Good morning. How's everyone doing? Or it's morning when I'm recording this. Good afternoon, good evening, and I hope you are having a good day or going to have a great day, all the above. I'm here to talk about the first map assignment. Luckily, I've had some students reach out to me and do a couple of Zoom office hours, and I've had a few people show up at my office to look at examples and talk about the assignment. And it made me, and they also suggested that other people might have questions as well. So here I am making a video. So shout out to all of you who were leading the pack on being curious. And that's a really good thing I want to remind everyone about that. If you are looking at my assignment and it feels like you're not sure what to do, I'm here. I'm sitting right here. I'm right here for you. You can either go into our the Start Here module, click on the Calendly link, make an appointment, or send me a message. And if the question can be answered through us going back with a linguistic dominant communication style, I will answer that question. Or if I feel like the question has a little more nuance to it, I'll say, when are you available? Do you want to jump on right now? Do you want to get on a phone call? And let's chat. It's just me here. So it is actually the best part of the job when I can imagine a communication professor who wants to be in an actual conversation or dialogue with you. Here it is. I'm right here. So, all right. So shout out to those people. All right. So when we open up the map assignment, what we're doing here, there's three map assignments that we're going to be doing. The first map assignment is really just to establish where you are at. And we've already had 3 weeks of materials that have engaged you in this idea of ethics and interpersonal communication, meaning how do you want to communicate in the world? Who do you want to be? Each of you are now diving into your books and you're looking at maybe a specific focus. So if you chose the Aziz Ansari, oh my God, the Aziz modern romance book, or if you chose Michael Sandel's What Money Can't Buy, or Celeste Headley's book, The um, we Can We Talk, right? Can We Talk? Whichever book you chose, you have found a way to focus already. So if you're making this map, you could focus just on your dating and romantic life, or you could focus it on workplace or relationships, or if you want to think about your own economic stability and where you want to be and how you're visualizing your life. What does that look like to you? And I'm using this gesture here as a way to think about what is your path or what is the compass that you're using to navigate the world. Now, Aristotle, 3,000 years ago, called this the golden mean, which is basically how you're navigating your life. And that means that we have a tendency, Aristotle was saying this, though a lot of neuroscience also talks about this as well, that we kind of tip into choices that we don't feel like are really representative of ourselves. And in communication, there are ways that we are trying to build our communication competency. So that's really what I'm looking for here. What is your communication competency? What is your ethics? And how does it represent in your life? So, how could we do that? This is a concept map assignment. And the most basic type of concept map idea is this idea of starting in the middle and having these branches that move into subtopics or sub-subtopics. And that's the way that we are going to be thinking about how we're first going to be navigating how we are thinking about this assignment as a visual representation. Now, this isn't the only way to do it. This is might be just the most familiar way. I put these ideas of a main point. You're the main point, so you probably belong in the middle here. And then these subpoints would be the topics, and then drilling down onto that into the communication behaviors. If you go to week 3 and you look at the Aristotle content and information, at the very bottom, there's this huge table that I created with ethics and core, not ethics, but with core values and how they might be represented in those subtopics. If you're more of an outline person and this is the way you think, one way to translate this into a more linear or Western organizational style, you could think of it as your main point, your subpoints, and your sub-subpoints. And whenever you're drilling down into these sub-subpoints, I'm going to be looking for that concrete details. How are you representing it? And what does it look like when it is the way you want to navigate and be in the world? Now, some of I gave some examples of ways that you can do your map in the assignment. I have option 1, option 2, option 3, and these are just sometimes it's easier in an assignment like this to already have the visual. So something like this might be like the golden path, and you might think about how you are in the world, and then thinking about this side things as either representing that visually, or how are places you don't want to be and where do you want to be. And you can create some explanation with some verbiage or create some images, but thinking about this kind of golden mean, meaning the path you are following and what are your core values. Uh, a lot of people might feel better with more of a pyramid structure with like different communication behaviors kind of represented towards a pinnacle place to be. Um, when we think about uh, this kind of structure, it could be part of the scale and representing it, and or maybe this is a type of navigation that you feel like you're climbing the pyramid and you're getting towards somewhere. It's your idea. Some people like more of a flow chart where they start at one side and then they move to the sub points, and then the sub points would be at the bottom, and they're kind of building up in there with more detail on the actual communication that you are talking about. Okay, so I did say this needs to be handwritten. If you want to do part of it digitally, meaning like you want to create all the words and like your main topics, or you want to put some images and then print it out, uh, that could be okay as long as there is more handwritten parts than digital parts. I do have one example, so now I'm gonna go into some examples. So these examples here are from a different assignment than the assignment you're doing. So they have different vocabulary words, but visually they are pretty much trying to do what we're trying to do. So right here kind of represents that spine, that end of that golden path with different sides to it. Now this was done digitally, and it's okay, but there's not enough written parts. You might be able to see that they did add a little handwritten parts here. I'm trying to make sure it's lined up in the image. Okay, so you see they have a little bit of handwritten there, and that is not enough. So for this class, for this assignment, you would need more handwritten pieces and explanations in here. But if there's a little bit of digital, that's fine with me, especially if you're not comfortable, uh, if you feel really comfortable with online things. If the whole image is digital and it's just a few vocabulary words, it will not be enough. All right. You don't have to be a great artist to do this. It doesn't have to necessarily be in color. It can be black and white, and someone here is showing their path. And then with that path, they are um, got some key words they've put in here and then different explanations. This one is one of my favorite student submitted works, and you can see it's very simple, it's clear, it's organized, and there's lots of good arrows. Please include arrows. Direct me where you need me to be. My obsession with arrows might be close to my obsession with you bolding your vocabulary in written work, which you always see in my classes. Okay, so this one here definitely is another good one. We've kind of got the path that they're following and the different things here. I like this path feeling from this. A lot of people do the path or the spine organization, which I really like. Um, Sorry, the paper clips have these all stuck together. Here's another one that's just black and white, very simple. They're doing a romantic relationship analysis, so they're using stick figures there, and I think there's a real clarity to it, and very nicely done. Though we also will tip into when people do add a lot of color and a lot more imagery. Again, another romantic relationship, and you can see these arrows are very clearly directing me through the map so that I can see where I'm supposed to go next. It's time to channel your inner Google map. Unless you have a different way of viewing the world, then I'll be interested in that. This one is a lot more compartmentalized. Sometimes people feel clear. I have a couple examples where things are very compartmentalized, like this one. Let's see, where's the one? Here, where things are kind of boxed out. Oh, I guess that this one kind of has that too. But things are much more kind of blocked off here in a very clear way. And I like this one because we have some nice little simple little images that are just a little popcorn bucket and a ticket and a cell phone. I'm looking, trying to look at this. And I like the simplicity of that one as well. Um, there's this one, another one where but I seeing the arrows here to direct me where I'm supposed to be going. Ooh, some mountains. What happened there? Oh, Bend, Oregon. I love. So beautiful. Actually, I'm about ready to go to Eastern Oregon to get some work done this weekend, and I wanted to make this video really quick before I took off. Uh, Here's another one just done in pencil. If you do it in pencil, you make sure that your image has enough contrast that I can actually read it. If it is too faint or hard to read, that is a part of the requirement. I've got to be able to read your stuff, so be careful of doing too light of a pencil thing. Uh, but you could start with pencil and then take if you have like a little black ballpoint pen. You could just outline it if you feel more comfortable writing it all. And then when you feel ready, you could just get it outlined that way. Oh, here's that other one I was looking for that's more like boxed out into different boxes. So you could put different kind of core values in here uh, and how your communication behavior of where you want to be. Um, Oh, here's another one that has kind of the golden path. That's lovely. I like this one. It has a very Candyland way. Oh, that would be fun to think of your favorite board game, like Shoots and Ladders. Uh, the Shoots and Ladders could work really well for Aristotle's golden mean, right? You got all these core values and you're going up and then you slip and you end up in a vice and in an extreme and then you've got to climb back up and do the repair, right? It's kind of a cute one. So there's one that looks like that. Here's one where we have some paths, but they made the path for different ways. They are thinking about that relationship mapping. This one, again, another one with the path and then the examples kind of on either side. Here's one that's, oh, like that first one I showed you that's kind of more, has the bubble in the middle. Where is that? It's buried now. The bubble, a concept map where we start in the middle with a romantic relationship and then we're looking at, and there's just these little teeny tiny, there's a little science, we've got a church, we've got the car and music notes. I don't know, there's little love note. I don't know, there's just some really cute ways that they added imagery in here that's very simple. There's one like this. What you should be noticing at this point is they're all different and they are all very creative and each one has its own personality. This should represent you and your core values and how you want to be in the world. And you're using the way that we're thinking about ethics and communication. So when you choose your virtues to focus on, after you decide you're thinking about how you want to visually represent it, um, we definitely want to, you can see that I've created like relationships, identity, speech, and then how would that look like in actual behavior in the actual communication that you do. That's what we want to start focusing on. Okay. I think this hopefully helps inspire you. And for this assignment, I am going to not extend the due date. It's still due, but I will extend a flex point for everybody on this if you want an extra 72 hours to submit it to kind of give your creative juices time to flow. So it will close it at that point a few days after the due date, and then things won't be accepted. But if it comes in a little bit late because you really want to spend a little more time with the assignment, I will not count that towards, I will not count late points on this assignment. Um, all right. I hope this helped and you're thinking about different ways to visually represent. I have a lot of examples. All right. Have a good weekend and try to have some fun with this and talk to people you know and see if they have some good ideas as well. Or your team. You have to talk about this assignment with your team. Maybe I can't wait to hear your conversations as they come up.